Hi, I'm Mike. This is just a kind of start off video to get my channel going in the direction I want it to go. So, I'm going to talk about something that personally I've dealt with my entire life. And that's Tourette syndrome. Now, when people think of Tourette syndrome, they usually think fuck shit, things like that. It's, yes, it's like that, but it's not like that at the same time. If you were just to look at me randomly, or like pass by me, you wouldn't know I had Tourette's. But that wasn't the case back in the day. I think I was diagnosed in first grade, so I was about 6 years old at the time, and it was a lot for my mom to go through. I didn't understand it at the time. Looking back, like I would go to these appointments an hour away to see a specialist, a doctor, talk to him, kind of like a counselor. And with my Tourette's, that came, instead of the fuck shit dicks, it was just worse for me. Because that was the type of Tourette's people understood. You see someone do that and, oh, they have Tourette's. But with me, it was a lot different because it wasn't words. It's motions and sounds and ticks and things like that. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this too, maybe, but I don't know. Say you hear a sound on a TV, someone knocks on a door. Well, then my immediate response is to try and replicate that sound. But what I found out too is it was mostly directed and derived from my anxiety, my stress levels. I would notice it a lot more when I had a big test coming up in school, or if I was getting made fun of for it, which happened a lot. Really. When I was in elementary school, oh god, kids were so mean. And I'm not victimizing myself. I'm reflecting on it, really. Because with my Tourette's, my tics were more just weird noises or just facial expression. So like sometimes I'll go, that's what it is now mostly, is just my eyes doing weird like rolling, or sometimes just things like that. So it's a lot more subtle now, and people do pick up on it, and I'm a lot more comfortable with it now to where if they ask me, hey, I've been noticing you do this thing a lot, are you okay? It's like, oh, I have Tourette's, you know. So when I go like this or make a funny motion with my arm, it's really the Tourette's. And I'm a lot more comfortable to say that now because the people I'm around now are a lot more understanding. And it's nice. But back then, when it was or or things like that, I would do those constantly throughout the day. Almost to the point where I felt bad for people to have to deal with me. You know, I felt bad that I was annoying people. I was annoying. And I had that told to me every single day almost throughout first to fifth grade. And it weighed on me for a long time. Because, well, kids are assholes. And I'm just saying that in like the broadest terms. Whether or not a kid is nice, grows up to be a good person, when you're just a kid, you don't really comprehend the differences between you and another person to the point where you can understand and show compassion. As a kid, if someone does something and like shows a sign of weakness, I guess, or difference, I don't know, this is just my experience with it. So I got picked on a lot. I got called annoying, I got pushed around, I got made fun of, things like that, teased. I hated it. I hated my Tourette's. I hated making people have to put up with me. Hello?
Hello, how are you? This is Anna, and I'm calling from the Healthcare Enrollment Center in regards to your inquiry for health insurance. Now, we know there has been a lot of confusion with all the changes happening with healthcare, and we are here to help you. So I just have a few quick questions, and then I'll get you right
I don't need fucking health insurance. Fuck that bitch. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I hated making people deal and put up with me. And they would used to have to separate me during tests and things like that. So when kids in my class were taking their math test, I would have to leave the classroom with a group of other students, go down the hall to another teacher's classroom, and have the test read, and I would have to take it there. And this is like a normal thing in most school systems, is, you take the kids with the learning disabilities and the cognitive issues, I guess, and you put them in a better environment for them to learn and to take tests in. But I never had that learning impairment. I just annoyed people. I would get anxious during tests. Yeah, but it's just test anxiety. And my Tourrettes would flare up because I was anxious. I was nervous. And then the noises would come. Things like that. And I realized, looking back, it's fucking hilarious that I would just make these fucking noises for no reason. It's fucking hilarious now. I can look back and laugh at that because I'm so thankful that I've learned to control it. And, but yeah, I would never have any problems with the tests. I'm a very good test taker. But they just separated me because I was annoying. And I understand that now. But back then it was like, wow, I'm fucking stupid. I make obnoxiously annoying noises, and I'm stupid. And that stuck with me, kind of. Now, looking back, it's not because I was stupid. No one who goes to that, like, special test location and has a test read to them, they're not stupid. They just have trouble comprehending things that other people might find simple, but it's not because they're stupid. It's because they're different. But back then, I didn't really understand that, and so I just thought it was because, I'm stupid. And that mentality stuck with me all the way through elementary school, through middle school, and part of the way through high school, till my junior year when I realized, no, I don't want to go to a separate location anymore. I'm perfectly fine to take a test with everybody else. My Tourette's are under control. And I understand, like, everything else that was, like, wrong with it. What am I trying to say? It got to the point where I just wanted to be like everybody else. I didn't want to be treated differently for something that I can control. So I brought that up, and the changes were made. And for my last 2 years of high school, I took the tests like everybody else. And those were the years where just my social status really just kind of shot up. My freshman and sophomore years were just the same as they were in middle school, See people in the classroom, keep to myself, occasionally for the test, go down the hall, take the test, come back. It got better to the point where I didn't need to anymore. Now, I think from about 3rd grade to 8th grade, I was put on medication called 10X. And all the medication really did was slow me down to the point where, yeah, I did need those extra locations and I did need the special help because I was so tired. It's an ADHD medication for those of you who don't know 10X, but they used it to treat my Tourette's. And after a while of being on the medication, I didn't like it. I was tired. Everything felt slow. I just was lazy. I was putting on weight because I had no ambition to do anything. And you may be thinking to yourself, well, you were just a kid, Yeah, but I was still self-aware enough to realize, like, the medication was not me. And yeah, it did help with my Tourette's. Like, it did slow them down, and they weren't as prevalent, and I was able to control them more. But after being taken off the medication, I felt so much better. And I still retained that ability to control it, subdue it, divert it. So instead of making noises, I just roll my eyes now. That sort of thing. I was able to kind of like change how it affects me. And I know it's not that simple, but that's what it felt like. It felt like I was coming to terms with it, and I was able to accept it. And I was able to start accepting myself. And then around junior year, when I finally stepped out of the circle that, I don't know, the school systems, the doctors, my mom, everybody just kind of put me in. When I stepped out of that, and I just got comfortable with myself, immediately my mood changed. I started doing things I loved. I joined the wrestling team my sophomore year. And when it came to sophomore, junior, and senior year, after joining the wrestling team and having gone through all of that, I just felt good. I felt like me again. And I missed it. Looking back, it makes me want to tear up because I was not myself for so many years of my life. To finally wake up from the medicated, like, trance that I was in. I don't even want to blame the medication. It could have just been me. But to finally wake up and embrace myself and be comfortable was amazing. I started making friends. I have some of my best friends in the world today because I was able to step out of my comfort zone, step out of my social anxiety, step out of my introverted default behaviors, and enjoy people's company. Come to find out, some people enjoy my company, which I never even put together. Like, that never crossed my mind, because, like I said before, for my entire elementary through middle school, kind of like life, I just annoyed people. I would be the kid that made noises in class and just was unbearable. And then to find out people actually enjoy my presence and laugh at my jokes, or just find me a pleasant person to be around sometimes. That was just insane to me. So, and I know there are still those people who think I'm annoying. There are still those people who don't like me. And they don't matter anymore. Because I have so many other, like, so many other positive, just impactful people in my life right now, that all of that, all the negativity, the toxicity, people who before would ridicule me, they don't matter to me anymore. Because I'm happy with myself. That's really all I have to say on this. I'm going to chop this up in editing, cut out some of the empty space, but yeah, this is me.